So, question 13. A square has an area of 81 centimetres. Find the perimeter. We know it's a square, which means that these lengths are going to be the same, because that's a property of a square. So I know that the area is x times x. And that symbol on my calculator, if I look, I can see it there. And the inverse is that little fella there. On some calculators it's different, but that's my inverse one. So all I'm going to do here is press that button on my calculator and I come out with 9. The diagram shows a right angle triangle and a parallelogram. The area of the parallelogram is 5 times the area of the triangle. The perpendicular height of the parallelogram is 8 centimetres. Whoa, it looks really confusing, doesn't it? But I do know this, and I know that the area of a triangle is going to be a half base times height. It's a thing you need to remember. So it's half the perpendicular height, by the way. So it's 9, so it's a half, times 9 times 16. So again, on my calculator, I can do a half, which is 0.5, times 9 times 16 equals 72. So I now know that the area of the triangle is 72. And even if you couldn't do anything else, you'd probably get 1 mark just for that, even if everything else looked really confusing. Let's see if we can answer it though. The area of the parallelogram is 5 times this. Let's times that by 5 then. So you can use your calculator to do that, and you should get 360. The area of a parallelogram, parallelogram, sides are parallel, is going to be perpendicular height times base. I know that the perpendicular height is h times 30, and they tell me that equals 360. So what's the opposite of timesing? In order to get rid of the times by 30, I'm going to divide both sides by 30. And if you did that on your calculator, you get 12. Let's try question 14 and see what you can do with that. So here we go, question 14. Victoria throws an ordinary fair 6-sided dice. So it's fair and it's an ordinary dice. Hopefully you can see the focus there. The probability of getting a 3 is half the probability of getting a 6. Is she correct? No. You can't just say no. So the probability of getting a 3, let's work that out. We know it's a fair-sided dice, and we know that you can have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And we know the probability of getting that, if there are 6 and it's fair, it's 1 in 6 chance. So actually, the probability of getting a 3 is the same as probability of getting a 6. Both is a 6th. Both probabilities equal 1/6. So no, she is wrong. And you do need to say that as well. And you can't say obvious. So, Andy throws a dice twice. He says the probability of getting a 6 on both throws is 2/6. The probability of getting a 6 on both throws is a 6th. Is he correct? No. So if you get to 6, it's getting a 6 and getting a 6. Now the word "and" in probability means times. We know that probability of getting a 6 is a sixth. So I can do it on my calculator. 1 over 6 times 1 over 6 is 1 over 36. No, it's 1 over 36. Indri throws dice once. She also throws a coin to get a head or a tail. List all the possible outcomes. Now, you could just scatter it, or you could think of a logical way of doing this. And that's what I'm going to try and do. I know that on the dice, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. I know that you can get a head or a tail. So here we go. These are all the combinations. I can get 1 and a head, or 2 and a head, and then once you're in the rhythm, you think, yay, 2 marks on this one for me. Bring it on. And you can see the smoothness in the table, and that makes things feel good. So, let's try question 15 and see what that has for us. Remy invests £600 for 5 years in a savings account. By the end of 5 years, he's received a total. So after 5 years, he has £75 simple, which is a ridiculous thing, interest. That's the total he has after 5 years. Work out the annual rate of simple interest. Well, we know it's 75 after 5 years, so 75 divided by 5 on your calculator is 15. So he's getting £15. Now, as an interest, it's £15 out of 600 times 100. So 15 divided by 600 equals times 100. So it's getting 2.5%. And you can always check that by saying 2.5% of 600. 15. Hope that's helped.